Hello, everyone. This is Bob Roswick with the Bismarck Air Museum, and today we have Tom Truesdale, our docent, sitting with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about this airplane that we see on the screen. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing mighty fine. What we have on our screen here is a plane that I'm not even going to try to explain. We're going to let Tom do that for us.
Well, you're looking at a Northwest Airlines DC-3, and what's unique about this DC-3, if you look at it, you will see that it says the City of Bismarck. Northwest Airlines never named aircraft after any of the cities they flew to, much like American Airlines, which named a plane after each city on their route, or United Airlines, which did it too. Mainliners for United, Mainliner Omaha, or American Airlines. Theirs was called Flagship, let's say Little Rock. Northwest only had two aircraft that were named after a city. One of them is the DC-3 that you see here. A DC-3. It was named in 1943 after the City of Bismarck, and the reason it was named after the City of Bismarck is it was landing on an afternoon flight and the pilot ground looped it. They were landing in a pretty strong crosswind and it got away from him, which can happen with tail-wheeled aircraft, and the ground loop caused one of the landing gear to collapse and caused the wing to drag on the ground, bent the propellers, and caused substantial damage. Well, it was during the war, as you can see, by war bonds. Northwest was in a quandary because the government had taken most of their DC-3s and they needed the airplane. Well, if you see the big hangar that faces on the airport as you drive out, that hangar was there in the 40s. It was built by the WPA, I believe, and the story that what went with it is the City of Bismarck volunteered if Northwest would take them up on their offer, they could use the hangar to rebuild the aircraft. Local merchants tipped in and provided supplies that were needed, and the City of Bismarck took all of the Christmas lights, because Christmas was coming up, and strung them in the hangar so that they would have lights so that they could work on the aircraft for 24 hours. The other city is the City of St. Paul, and that is a 757, and that was named after the City of St. Paul because that's where Northwest Airlines got their birth. A couple of interesting statistics about the DC-3. It normally held 21 people, normally cruised at 140 miles an hour, and it was the backbone of the commercial airline fleets in the 40s and 50s and even into the 60s, because it was the first airliner that came out that the airlines could make money hauling passengers. Up till that time, they made their money hauling freight and mail. The DC-3 changed all that, became the workhorse. Every major airline in the world used them. There were over 10,500 that were built. Most of them were used as military transports, and they had the name the C-47. But that is a little background on the City of Bismarck and the picture that you see.
Thanks, Tom. This is very good. I think that one of the interesting things is that this all occurred in what is now known as hangar number 5, and that's the hangar we're trying to save and turn into the Bismarck Air Museum. So this is a very nice picture that ties in nicely with our project that we're trying to accomplish. A couple of things that Tom reported a little earlier is that this picture has some unique features, and one is it's got a little dark spot here that's a light. Tom, tell us about that light.
That's called the ice light. They would turn that on because if you look at the wing has a real dark shadow on it. Those were rubber de-icing boots that would pulsate back and forth. There you see the arrow on the rubber de-icing boots. But they never wanted to start the de-icing boots until you had ice on them, and the ice had built up to about an inch, because if they started it beforehand, the ice would just ride on the rubber as it went back and forth. If you let the ice build up and then turned on the boots, then the ice would break off. Well, the way that they determined if they had ice on the wing was by turning on that light. It's called an ice light. The DC-3s had two of them, one on each side. They were very bright, and the length of the beam went all the way to the wingtip. So a pilot could turn them on and determine if he had ice on the wings.
So basically what happened is that this airplane was damaged, and the city of Bismarck basically went whole hog to get that plane repaired and get it back in the air, and for that, Northwest Orient named it the City of Bismarck.
They did indeed, and I believe this was a photograph that was taken at the time that it was test flown in Bismarck. And in the background, you can see some of the buildings of Fort Lincoln. So it really has a unique aspect that it was relating to Bismarck in a very personal way for anybody that has lived in Bismarck.
Well, thanks, Tom. This is a very historical picture, and I appreciate your time.
Glad to do it.